Hi, we're Rory and April. In the fall of 22, we emptied our nest, jumped off the hamster wheel, sold our house and everything in it, to travel the globe full-time with our big golden doodle Oliver. Join us as we see new places, meet new people, and live our dream to see the world. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and kindly like our video and subscribe for more adventures. We are the Great Escapers.
I'm Rory.
And I'm April, and this is Oliver. He's our 5-year-old golden doodle, and he's about 100 pounds. We've been traveling Europe now for about 6 months, and we're now here in Scenic, Albania.
We moved here from Texas. I'm originally from Pennsylvania.
And I was born and raised in North Texas.
So we've moved around a lot, but we found ourselves in what was supposed to be our forever home in Fort Worth.
Because my family lives there, and my kids were close by. He has 2 kids and I have 2 kids, and they're all grown out of the house. We empty nested actually in 2021. So back in 2019, we went on our honeymoon a couple years after we got married to Greece. And we fell in love with Greece. I actually cried on the ferry from Paros back to Athens because we had to go home, and I couldn't believe I had to leave this beautiful place and sit in a stressful job and go back on the hamster wheel.
Back on the hamster wheel. The hamster wheel is where we're at for at least 3 years.
The American dream.
Yeah. We all know what happened in 2020, and it really changed a lot of what we did. Not just COVID, but that we had a lot of personal things that happened as well.
I lost my very best friend of 23 years. Really reminded me how short life is, and were we really living our best life.
She's also had a couple of back surgeries.
Very serious back surgery. It took me a long time to get over it over that year.
It really changed our outlook on where we wanted to be.
Right.
So thanks to a bunch of YouTube videos that we watched, and shout out to all those YouTubers, fellow YouTubers.
All your fellow travelers around the world.
Gave us this, the hope that we too could do this. So just, we retired early. I'm 43.
And I'm 46.
35.
Oh, thank you, honey.
And again, we took the jump and we did it. We left DFW back in October, flew from there to Frankfurt, Germany.
Well, but before that, we sold our house.
Oh, yes.
Our dream house
important.
that we thought was our dream house that we had built. We sold everything in it. We had a huge estate sale. Thanks to Sage Patina Estate Sales. They're in Fort Worth. Use them, look them up. They're amazing. Chris and Amy, thank you for all that you did for us. We sold our cars at the height of the used car market. So we put quite a bit in savings. We took what little retirement we had and decided, after looking at some YouTube budget videos on traveling, that we could do this. We may not could live in the States without working, but we could travel Europe without working.
And we were doing it for the last 6 months. We put a few things in storage.
We do. We have a small storage unit with some mementos, things of the kids, different things that we just couldn't replace. But most everything we sold.
Yeah, so the hardest part about initially getting out, which really wasn't hard, April took care of all of it, was for this guy. We had to get all his paperwork done, get him a huge kennel. And huge kennel. And we used Lufthansa, and they were great. They have a fantastic animal
transport.
Yes.
Yeah, and they have a huge Frankfurt animal lounge that took great care of him. We flew, like Rory said, into Frankfurt from DFW, and then they transported him from there to Rome. I will do a video eventually of how we got Oliver here. It was actually pretty easy and much more affordable than using like a big pet relocator, which a lot of people will say you have to do. You do not have to do that. You can do it on your own. If you're interested, you can certainly pop us a message and I can shoot you how we did that. We'll cover that later. But anyway, so then we went to Frankfurt and headed on to Rome, where our journey began.
Yeah, sure did. So from Rome, we spent a few days in Rome, and then we went down to Salerno and got to see the Amalfi Coast, which was
beautiful.
Amazing. I don't recommend doing it on a scooter, though.
Don't drive an hour and a half on a scooter. Not with 40-something butts, anyway.
No.
But it was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
And then after Salerno, we headed down all the way to Taormina, Sicily.
Sicily's actually where my mom's family's from. So I'm actually working on my dual citizenship. Shout out to ICA, Italian Citizenship Assistance. They're helping me with my dual citizenship. And then from Sicily, bounced back to the mainland and over to
the Puglia region, where we stayed in Castellana Grotto. And you may not have ever heard of it, but it's a really neat, just quaint Italian town there in Puglia. And we based there for a little over 3 weeks. And we saw Alberobello, beautiful. We went to Monopoly and Bari and so many great little Puglia towns. And then as the winter started approaching in November, things really started shutting down there because the villages are pretty small around there. So we decided to kind of get out a little bit early from our Airbnb there and went straight back up to Rome, to the big city where we knew things would be open. And we stayed there again for 2 weeks because we loved it so much the first week we were there. So after that, we went on to Florence to spend the holidays.
Florence was outstanding.
Beautiful. We really hope to go back there. We have some amazing videos of Christmas there in Florence.
Well, and then here's where things kind of changed up. So you may have heard about the Schengen before, the Schengen visa, where it's 90 days within a 180-day period. There's a whole big math. You can have apps to help keep track of it. Long story short, we decided to go to Croatia. Croatia was not part of the Schengen, but in December, they joined.
Yes, right as we had a whole month plan and split Croatia with a non-refundable Airbnb, Croatia joins the Schengen in December the 8th. We had booked it in early November, so we had no idea. They'd been talking about it for years, but we did not know they were actually going to join as we had plans to go there. So we had to very quickly change our plans. And where did we end up?
Well, we ended up in Montenegro, but we took a overnight ferry, which maybe she'll talk about, maybe she's probably blocking it out, to Croatia. Yeah.
Jurlinga? How do you say it?
Starts with J.
Jurlinga.
Something.
The Croatian ferry. Built in the 1970s. Hasn't been touched since.
Well, as long as you stay on the deck, you're probably fine.
Now, shout out to the staff. They were amazing. The captain himself was a little nervous that we had our 2 huge away bags, 2 huge Peak Design backpacks, 45-liter, his duffel bag, him, and me, in the tiniest little 2-berth overnight cabin. Even he was like, "You're gonna fit all that in that cabin?"
I did.
Oh, we did, but it did take a couple Xanax to get me through the night there. Needless to say, I would find a different way to get from Italy to Croatia in the off season. It was December, so there was no other way to get there. So that's what we did. However, we had how long? 1 day.
1 day
to get out of the Schengen.
Pick up the car at the airport and Split, and then beat feet over. We actually
to Montenegro.
Got lost on the way, if you will. Google sent me to Bosnia. We went through Bosnia, came back into Croatia, and then Croatia into Montenegro, which we spent 5 weeks.
We did Perast in the middle of New Year's Eve. It was a ghost town and it was magical. It was beautiful. There was a fog that just settled in over the Kotor Bay at night. It was a beautiful, magical little town, especially being the off season. We really enjoyed the reprieve from the busyness of Italy. And then we moved on to Kotor, which was amazing, probably one of our favorites. And then to Budva and off into Durrës, Albania.
Where we spent a month actually in Durrës.
A whole month.
Then came down here to Sarande.
And so here we are. So we have future plans to leave for Greece, finally back to Greece on Saturday. We'll be there 3 months. We're going to hit the Ionian Islands. We're going to do Lefkada, my dream, Lefkada, back to Zakynthos, where this whole journey started back in 2019. And then up into Corfu. And then we're flying out with this big dude over to Scotland, where we'll spend 3 months in the UK doing our out of the Schengen time, and then back through France, Portugal, Spain, and then hopefully doing Morocco in the winter for a few months.
Tentative plan. We'll see how it goes.
So like and subscribe to our videos if you want to keep following our journey. We'll do our best to keep posting some updates. It took us a little while to get here to want to do YouTube. But then we decided, we'd like to have a little video journey of what we're doing for us, for our kids, maybe grandkids one day, for our parents, and just to remember all of our travels. So join us on our adventures.
Until next time. Cheers.
Cheers.